Hey YouTube. So before we get started, a couple things. First, the fan in here, the wind in here is blowing my hair around a little bit. So if you see me fiddling with it, it's not a tick or anything like that. It is literally just because it is kind of blowing it right across my face, and it's a little ticklish and annoying. Second, the cat eye kind of look that I'm sporting today. Wanted to try something a little bit different. Haven't quite gotten this down, but it's a little bit of a different, kind of a more dramatic look. Went with the low cut top, everything like that. So, and this is me now back from my night out. And so, what I want to talk about tonight, rather than life updates, is sex. And so, there are kind of a couple things related to sex. Right, sex. See how I say that word, sex? I make like this kind of funny face when I say sex. Like it's weird. Or, yeah. Anyway, so, there are 4 things about sex. There we do. Now I can say with a smile. Sex. Which isn't weird at all. But anyway, so, there are 4 things kind of that always seem to come up with me and sex and other people. Not that I have sex with other people, but just that being out as trans kind of apparently makes me now an open source of information for my entire life with other people, so they feel okay giving me advice, asking me questions, and basically probing really deep into my personal life. So sure, why not? I'll share. And so first is disclosure. Basically coming out to the potential partner and telling them that you're trans. And so that's really when you're comfortable having that discussion, if you want to have it at all. For me, I don't think I could be in a relationship without telling someone at some point down the road. But if you kind of tell them up front, then I've noticed that they're kind of quick to leave. But if you tell them late, then they can maybe feel deceived or whatever. But I guess like a lot of people argue that, well, once you build a relationship, then they won't care. But to me, like that doesn't seem to really be true, because what comes up next is, so are you pre-op or post-op? With the implication being that post-op is okay because that means you have a vagina and they know what to do with that, but pre-op isn't because they don't, and they're not sure if that makes them gay, or how they would have sex with you, or whatever, I don't know, but I've had that question several times, actually, guys and girls, kind of with that sort of underlying message that if I'm post-op, okay, yeah, let's continue this conversation. If I'm not, then let's don't. So, disclosing and then disclosing kind of your genital status is almost a given, so that's kind of 1-2. That was interesting to me. Like, I thought for people, it would be trans or not would be the deal breaker, not pre-op or not, or post-op or not, rather. And so, I've actually had a friend suggest to me before that I should try a dating site like Grindr and try to date guys, because clearly I'm a dude, right? And so besides the fact that that shows that she doesn't really understand how this works, and that she's invalidating my gender, I'm not what gay guys are looking for, as far as I know, and my experience with gay guys has kind of shown me. So, yeah, but hey, a dating site like Grindr, sure, why not? Or no. How about no? And so what this all kind of boils down to is people basically say, oh, hey, I respect trans people for what they do, but I can never be with them. And so ultimately what that says, and I've heard that from lots of people. And what that ultimately says to me is that you're basically willing to humor a trans person and say, oh yeah, you're a woman or you're a man, but I want nothing to do with you. And I mean, I get that. Like, a trans partner isn't for everybody. But you don't really respect trans people then. Because if you did, you would treat them like their target gender. And that would mean that if you date women, you would consider dating me. At least that's how I feel about it. Obviously, I'm personally biased, but yeah. And so then finally you have the people who basically think that they deserve a medal or a cookie for being okay with that and actually wanting to date you. And so they're like, hey, well, like, I already dated trans people in the past, so you don't have to deal with all those hang-ups about whether or not I'll treat you like a real woman. And it can almost get to the point where it's like they intimate that basically I should be grateful that they're willing to date somebody like me, and that should be good enough regardless of the fact that I may or may not be attracted to them, I may or may not like their personality, or I might, whatever. Like, yeah. Because, hey, you're trans and I'm okay with that. That should be good enough for them. Or that should be good enough for me. And it's not. Like, it's I'm a whole human being. Trans is just one detail. But yeah, this is, long story short, this is why I don't really have any sex right now.